where are you from?
Well, I guess I was originally born right down the road in Greensboro,
Okay.
right here. And definitely lived in a few other places, but
Where else have you lived?
I've lived in Tennessee for quite a while. I've also lived in South America, in Caracas, Venezuela, and yeah, I guess just a few other places here in North Carolina.
Yeah, of those places, where did you like living the most, or what'd you say?
Okay, I'd say honestly, I probably have enjoyed living in North Carolina the most.
Mm-hmm.
It's just the most, I guess, comfortable, familiar. But everywhere I've lived, I'd have to say it's been a good and slightly different experience.
So you lived in Venezuela like as a child. This was not something that you did after college or anything?
Correct.
Okay.
That's right. I was probably, I think I was about, let's say, right around 10 years old.
Oh, wow.
When my family and I moved there. And we were there for between 3 and 4 years. I never remember exactly. So about 3.5 years total. And obviously that's where I really got my start with Spanish. But that being said, I've really continued to learn and expand on the fundamentals that I got when I was there.
Sorry to focus on this, but it's just interesting to me.
Right.
So were you pretty much surrounded by Spanish living there? Like you really didn't have much English? Were you sort of forced
correct.
to learn it?
Outside of the house, obviously my family, we all spoke English in the house. We really tried to integrate ourselves as much as possible.
Yeah.
But we lived in a local, a kind of a native neighborhood. So a lot of my friends, a lot of people I was hanging out with didn't speak any English at all. That was when I actually really started to be able to process and formulate my thoughts in Spanish.
Great. Have you been back since then?
I haven't. Even though it's not really how it often gets portrayed in the media, certainly Venezuela has been known for some instability.
Yeah.
But that was the thing, even when my family and I lived there was some of that going on. And when you're actually there living it, it's really not usually, with certain exceptions, it's really not usually as bad as sometimes it gets portrayed from outside. That's kind of one of the overriding reasons I haven't been back. Just concerns about that, and just really not having an opportunity to get back.
How did you get here?
Okay, right. Well, let's see. I guess an obvious connection is having lived in South America. That was kind of my first exposure to Spanish, and of course it was interesting to me at the time, but as a pretty young kid, I didn't really appreciate maybe all the things that I could do with it in the future.
Yeah.
Really the importance of what I was learning. I was just kind of learning it. So it's one of those deals where people would always say, you'll use this later, or this could come in handy for you. As I got going through my college career, I started to think of Spanish in a different light. I wanted to do something that would incorporate a skill that I had, maybe that not everyone else has been fortunate enough to acquire, and also started to develop a interest in trying to help other people, or just trying to share some of my experiences with others.
Yeah. What would you say is your favorite part of teaching here, or even just teaching in general? What do you really love about it?
Right. I just like I said, trying to share some of my experience that I've had in my life, and just really trying to get people thinking or interested in Spanish to hopefully really pursue it more on their own. That's kind of my favorite thing about teaching, just being able to work with people, enjoy the learning process, which ideally happens.
And then just kind of as a final note, this is completely unrelated.
Okay.
If you weren't a professor here, or if you weren't really a Spanish professor at all, what would you do with your life? Kind of what's a dream job?
I'm really very involved interested in music.
Yeah.
From performing music, I play several instruments, to the whole production side of things, sound and lights, and or just even the management side and the presentation. So I'd say probably something with music, although that's such a random and uncertain field. I think that's one of the reasons that kind of got ruled out over the years. I really like to cook, believe it or not, and so I might be a chef, restaurant owner, something along those lines if I weren't teaching here. I'm actually a vegetarian.
Oh,
so
same, yeah.
I honestly haven't found a whole lot here in Winston-Salem. I mean, a lot of the standard places that everyone knows that are kind of more general, like just in the general area, Asheville. I love Asheville.
Have you been to, oh gosh, what's it called? Laughing Seed?
Yes.
Oh, that's probably my favorite restaurant of all time.
It's so good. Yeah, no,
vegetarian heaven.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, for someone like me too. Yeah. It's just awesome. This is me, I guess.
Yeah. Well, that's great. Thank you so much for your time. And this is.
May the wind be always at your back, and the sun shine warm upon your face.